Mr. Mott, does the horse know he won? I think they know.
I think they know. Yeah, ask him.
We've done the Triple Crown. We've Bernardini. Do you not remember him? Yeah. So he was one of our great early horses in America, and another homebred as well. And that was our first classic in America. And unfortunately, Barbaro broke down that day. But he was, in my mind anyway, probably a bit biased, the best 3-year-old in the country that year. I think when he went on and proved it in New York as well, he couldn't have won the Travers any easier. Won the Jockey Club Gold Cup when that was probably the biggest race in New York in the fall at that time. So he was an exceptional racehorse. Was unfortunate now, maybe not to win the Breeders' Cup here, but he had a stellar career and only ran as a 3-year-old. So we've won them all. We won the Triple Crown as such with 3 different horses. So I don't think there's any pressure, and as Bill had mentioned, we'll just do the right thing for the horse and what he needs to do. He has a big year, hopefully, to continue down the road here, and there's an awful lot of nice races that we would like to put on his resume as well. So we'll just do the right thing for him, and I think the horse will tell Bill and Kenny how he's doing and what we need to do with him.
Michael, did you first watch it live? Maybe it was not a big deal.
It didn't bother me that much, other than now I come to find out maybe the horse on the outside had, maybe got on him a little bit. But as they were going down the track, by the time they passed the wire, I mean, Junior had gotten him over to the fence, and it's like, wow. I mean, that was a textbook move to be able to do that. And of course, you've got to have the pace in the race to stretch the field out enough to make room to have the opportunity to get in. And I think it's incredibly important. Like the horse he beat was in the 8 hole, so he had more opportunity than we did to get in, and we got lucky, but it was also a great move. And we've talked about that before. I mean, you cannot win the Kentucky Derby if you're 5 wide on both turns. It's just not going to happen. The races are too competitive, and so you not only have to have the best horse, you've got to have a good trip, and you've got to have a good ride, and you've got to have somebody that's ready to give you a good ride on the day. And I'd say Junior was up for it, and I think he believed all the time that he was going to win this race. I mean, I think he's thought that, from the time that he, started riding him.
He rode the race like he was going to make sure he knew where journalism was and was going to go after him. Did you guys have any discussions about that?
No, not really. Not really. Just, the only thing we were hoping for was to save some ground on the first turn. Because when you turn for home, you might have to lose a little ground, coming around horses if it doesn't open up on the inside. Which I think he was, probably, I don't think it was really more than 3 wide actually, leaving the half-mile pole. I think he had tipped out but that's when he, just needed to start his run. We make the decision. I don't think, we'll make a decision and not look back. I mean, that's the thing when you've got. I think when you're on a team and you work together and you make a decision to go or not go, whatever you do, I think everybody, look, this is what we're doing, and then you live with the outcome, whatever it may be, and I think everybody's comfortable with that.
And it's the biggest obstacle in 2 weeks.
Yeah, always. I think, over the years, I think people realize that, spacing these horses out a little bit, gives you the opportunity to make them last a little longer. And I think we're looking at, a career, and, you want the career to last more than 5 weeks. there wouldn't have been one thing that we would have wanted to change. And I can't, with most horses, you can pick apart their training schedule. For the last two, you say, well, I wish this, I wish that, you know what I mean? I wish we had done this, or wish the horse hadn't done that. And we couldn't come up with anything that was a negative. Everything was a positive. The way the horse was doing, the way everybody handled him, the staff. I mean, Javier, he got along with him very well. His works were what we really wanted. I mean, the first work over the track here was exceptional. I mean, he worked in 1 minute and 3/5, but he galloped out in 12 and 4, and then he continued the gallop out. I mean, he was letting him go out, but he went, 125 for the 7/8. And I mean, I always say when, that's my comment is that's racehorse time. And she was, I think, probably a name that almost anybody would remember, so that's been in horse racing that long. I guess I'm, but the families are really, it's amazing, how sooner or later it comes through, and it came through on this horse, and he's a gorgeous individual. I mean, he's big, powerful. I mean, and you probably don't realize he's as big as he is when you stand up to him, walk up to him. I mean, he's Michael could probably tell you how tall he is, but he's a little taller. And I hadn't seen him in all those years. He'd gone into the quarter horses and then California, and then we wound up at the same table at the trainers' dinner, and I reminded him that I had met him when I was 15, walking around his barn. I'd sneak over there in the afternoon, and of course we were at kind of I guess I'll use the term, a gyp track, which we were, and the backside was pretty modest, and except for Wayne's barn, they had a brand new barn there, and he had half of that, and I used to walk around his barn in amazement and look. I mean, every horse was polished and done up in 4 bandages with a show halter on the in a wooden plaque for each horse with their pedigree and their name on it. And I mean, he's an amazing guy, and then to sit at the same table with him, I don't know how many years later that was, but 20 years later or whatever, and now we're still at the same place. And the Asmussen family, Keith Asmussen was here yesterday. He was my first job when I was 14 years old. And to see, I was thinking about it yesterday. I was on the track. I saw Keith, I saw Wayne, and we're going back to 1967, I guess, when we were all at the same place, and here we are this many years later, and brings back a lot of memories. And that there were some very humble beginnings, I would say, and to be able to participate at this level when I never even thought in 1967, I couldn't have even imagined coming to Churchill Downs. I mean, it was had never been to Kentucky before, and I thought Churchill Downs was I thought it was for someone else, and nice to be here.
Where does yesterday rank?
It's up there. I certainly don't want to take anything away from some of those other horses, because they were really good horses and great experiences. But this is going to go, right at the top of the list with them. I mean, it's hard to beat Cody's Wish. You know what I mean? The experiences we had with him and the memories we have and the meaning of it. It was incredible. But this guy's he's right up there in the memory bank.